Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today it's Pauper time. So yesterday, as time of recording, I played in a Pauper Last Chance qualifier, and I decided to play Red Black Madness. So at the time, I didn't exactly study the meta that much, having to keep up with, Modern for the PT, my love for Vintage Cube. I love Vintage, I love Legacy. It's just hard to keep up with everything, but that's also why we're here. We're here to learn. So you're going to learn with me almost real time, because when I studied the format a little bit more, I started to notice why this deck was running some of the sideboard cards that I found in random lists and ended up cutting for the event. But that's not really relevant right now. First, let's go through the main deck, then we will get to the sideboard. So the core of this deck is basically having your draw / discard spells. That is Faithless Looting, Highway Robbery, and Demand Answers. And from there, take advantage of the Madness mechanic. Also, Vampire's Kiss is probably the best card in the deck. 2 mana, deal 2, gain 2, create 2 blood tokens. So these 2 blood tokens, they're also discard outlets. Those 2 blood tokens are artifacts, so we can enable playing Galvanic Blast. And yeah, all around good times. So let's just quickly try and talk a little bit about the difference between these draw discard spells. So Faithless Looting is you draw first, then discard 2 cards. That makes it ideal to, find Madness cards you don't already have, which is quite cool, where the Highway Robbery of the world and the Demand Answers, they kind of require you to have a card you want to discard in your hand right away, which we will see during the games. Like, the sequencing will be quite obvious when we get there. The difference between these two draw twos, Highway Robbery is a card that can get plotted, which is pretty strong. If you don't have any plays turn 2, you want to set up for a big turn 3, you can plot this turn 2, and then turn 3, you get a free copy of Highway Robbery, and you just have more mana to work with, right? Worth noting is these both have the ability that if you discard Sneaky Snacker, you can get it back right away, because you already drew for your draw step. Sneaky Snacker, this new addition from MH3. Worth noting is we cannot hardcast this card. We can only discard it and bring it back via some draw spells. So the goal of this deck is basically get into a state where you churn draw spells, discard synergy cards like Alms of the Vein, 1 mana Lightning Helix, Fiery Temper, Lightning Bolt once you discard it, Kitchen Imp, 2/2 Flying Haste. And we kind of get into this spot where we kind of chain the draw abilities and we discard cards for profit. So let's see if we can do that today. And we have the normal burn suite here, 4 Lightning Bolts, 4 Galvanic Blast. Worth noting is I actually think Lightning Bolt is the worst card of this deck. That's the card you're going to see me shave the most in sideboarding, which is kind of funny to think about. Mana base, we have Bridges for artifact count and fixing. We have Jack Barons for fixing and a little bit of ping damage. Then we have a single copy of Rakdos Carnarium. This card used to be very good in this deck, to my understanding, but simply because you do get Stone Rain from time to time in Pauper, so we can't really overload on those. Mountains, we need untapped sources, and we are leaning red. And 8 Mirrodin Artifact lands to round out the mana base, which will make us a target for stuff like Gorilla Shaman, Dust to Dust, stuff like that. So that's something to keep in mind. So let's go to the sideboard here. The ones I definitely knew was awesome going into the tournament was Gorilla Shaman for opposing artifact lands. I had 3 copies. And the festivities, mainly against like Kuldotha Rebirth and, assorted white decks, I guess. A little bit of Squadron Hawk, a little bit of Sacred Cat. Some Graveyard Hate in case somebody wants to, storm off or whatever. Then I also played this card, Extract the Confession, which is basically just a very solid edict. Because against Boggles, it ensures that you take care of their biggest creature if you have, some cards in your graveyard to exile. So yeah, pretty darn solid sideboard card. I haven't needed it yet, but I really like it in theory. And then here's Contaminated Ground, which is a card I didn't play in the tournament, but I could definitely see why you would play it. So let's see here. 2 mana Aura. Enchanted Land. Enchanted Land is a swamp. Whenever Enchanted Land becomes tapped, its controller loses 2 life. So you could be like, oh, but the opponent could just not tap it and it doesn't do anything, which is true. We want it in a matchup where my opponent cares about their land being a specific type. So that would be Forest in the red-green matchup. So if my opponent put Utopia Sprawl on a land, we play this, Utopia Sprawl falls off, and that land is now a swamp, which is huge if we can get that to work. It also works against Dryad Arbor if they only have one forest, but that's not as reliable. So basically, we want to have good timing against Utopia Sprawl with this card, and then I guess we can get into some scenarios where we play against like Basilisk Gate or Ursa lands, and then maybe we have a little bit more utility. But yeah, this card I think is useful, but let's see. To round out the sideboard, we have Trespasser's Curse, which is also a kind of a hard card to evaluate. So enchant player, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under enchanted player's control, that player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So a little bit of draining going on here. But we mainly want this. Look, I'll bring it in against like Battle Screech decks for sure. But this deck is mainly for the broad scale combo deck. Sadistic Glee, that's like making infinite 01 Eldrazi Scions. With this card in play, they can't combo. So I like this card as just saying, you can't combo, you have to beat me the fair way, and that's going to be darn hard because my deck is like pretty solid at chipping away at the opponent's life total. So yeah, that's going to do it for the deck tech. Let's jump into some games and see if we can get some cool games. I usually have cool games when I play Pauper. Lots of decisions, lots of clicks, lots of grindy stuff. So yeah, let's see if we can do that today as well. All right, round 1 of our Pauper run with Black-Red Madness Burn, I guess you should call it. This hand is not very good, so if I play Epicure turn 1 and I have to discard a card to try and find my land turn 2, I'm already on a mulligan. If I draw a land, I'm good, but it's better to just mulligan right away. This hand is not very good either, but at least, I have 2 colors of lands, and I can draw into some stuff later. But yeah, this is definitely not ideal. I have to play like a setup type game where I hope to trade resources with my burn spells against opposing creatures, and then kind of get into the game once I find a discard outlet. Seal of Strength. That's actually a good card at protecting creatures against my deck, so we might be up against some Infect type deck. Another Kitchen Imp is one of my worst draws. So right now I have 3 Madness cards, but nothing to do with it. And as I showed on the deck tech, this deck is full of, stuff that enables Madness. So, and just as if I drew a lot of copies of that column, I would be needing the Madness cards. So yeah, not ideal. Not ideal. Here's another one. This is not the best start for the deck. Definitely not the best start for the deck. Okay, so my opponent, look at this. This is actually pretty cool. The opponent plays Infect and Pauper. They developed a proactive pump spell, you can say, to protect, and they waited a turn with Blight Mamba. So this has more protection written all over it here. Let's see if the opponent decides to put Rancor on it, or hold up mana. Okay, so I'm gonna go Galvanic Blast end of turn. Good call. I'll also go Lightning Bolt on my own turn. Demand Answers is a good one, though. The thing about Demand Answers is it doesn't do anything right now. Like, it gets me... Maybe it's good enough that it gets me, into the deck. It's just so bad. And I'm really worried about just not getting more turns, but maybe I have to do it. Which card do I discard? I'd probably discard this. Life doesn't matter against Infect. Can't Madness, unfortunately. Draw 2. Untapped red would be nice. So I can also Lightning Bolt, yeah. Yeah, that was just incredibly clunky. I didn't stand a chance there. For sideboarding against Infect, I have Edicts, Extract a Confession. I have End the Festivities. I'm definitely going to go for that. Okay, lots of old cool cards here. That's cool. Wow. Attacking for 2. That's not impressive. Let's cast Faithless Looting. I can only discard 1 Madness card here that I can actually cast. So I think I'll just get rid of the Vein. Play Imp. Nope. Play Imp, yes. My opponent's holding up Regeneration. Should I stay back and block here? Is that how it works? My opponent pays 2 mana, and then I try and get my opponent on my turn? Yeah, probably. It doesn't feel very good to play, let's call it control against that deck. Especially into a Regenerator. That's just horrible. So I'll block here, my opponent will regenerate. Then I will bolt. My opponent will regenerate. I'll respond by trying killing it. Then my opponent can sacrifice this. Yeah, this is not looking good. One more land. Might represent more protection. Let's see. Another Fiery Temper that doesn't do anything, unfortunately. Yeah, I think I have to double burn my opponent's card here. Very unfortunate. Vines to protect it. Yeah, I need to put a lot more pressure on my opponent in games like this, where I either stress their mana or stress their life total. In here, I'm just not stressing anything. Listener Elf. Shouldn't be that good. Let's see, what can I draw? Demand Answers, so I can go like Demand Answers, kill the Elf. Or Demand Answers, put into play Kitchen Imp. The thing is, I can't really win if my opponent can ever pump this Mamba, so maybe I have to, you know, work in the other direction, so to speak. Okay, I'll try and get Imp into play that can kind of block the Elf and maybe buy some time. Kitchen Imp, draw 2. I can't see myself winning this game, but we're going to play it out here, playing to our outs. And our outs is my opponent draws a million lands. Take this damage. Oh, yeah. Okay. Epicure. So Epicure can let me block Elf, put Imp into play, block Mamba, try and move on with life here. I can never beat any trample stuff. Yeah, this is just not good. I think because I want to hit a land, I do it now. Excuse me. I'm gonna Madness now because this deck plays so many tap lands, and that would actually be a decent draw here. Okay, so we hit a tap land. That's not bad. So even though I'm missing like the surprise element of Imp now, but the thing is, that's not really a thing. My opponent's gonna attack anyway. So it's just better that if I hit a tap land, I have more stuff to do on the following turn. Block, block. That's kind of forced. I believe my opponent will just regenerate and call it a day. The problem is I kind of have to keep throwing something in front of this card. Because right now, if my opponent sacrifices the shield, it's 4 damage. Okay, that card is annoying, but beatable compared to, like, pump spells, so I'm not going to complain about that. Another Fiery Temper. So I feel like I should flashback Faithless Looting to discard a Temper and put Snacker into the yard. Draw 2. Snacker. Temper. Kill the Elf, I guess? Is that correct? Maybe I'm supposed to accept the Elf? No, let's just kill it. This game is so tough. And yeah, go. I have to block. The opponent will regenerate, and I will not have anything to do. I will need another blocker. Which I don't have. Sneaky Snacker enters tapped. Oh, okay. The opponent has some trample stuff here. Okay, so it was only a matter of time before my opponent found some trample stuff. Let's see. I love these 5 cards. Which cards don't I like? Probably just the cards that only go to the opponent's face, like the Veins. That card doesn't do anything against that deck. It's like a bad lightning bolt. I guess you can discard it, so that makes it better sometimes. Wonder what I'm cutting here. Maybe it's just a snacker. But snacker is kind of cool, you know. The cool thing is all this burn also hits creatures. I like that a lot. Vampire's Kiss enables stuff. But it looks like when I'm cutting 4 madness cards, I'm not, you know, I don't need that card as much. I could see shaving a Vampire's Kiss. Or maybe just Demand Answers. Maybe that's just better. Okay. Let's shave it Demand Answers. But cut 4 madness cards and an enabler. That's fine. Alright. We're on the play here. We have an Edict. Tough to mulligan. I have a Vampire's Kiss, so I'm going to keep this. Thing is mono green Infect. Pretty cool deck. Vault of Whispers. Seal of Strength. That's a card that Extract doesn't care about, so that's fine. Here's Vampire's Kiss. Then next turn, at the very least, I can cycle through 2 blood tokens and end up with a snacker in play. The point of that would be to, you know, get a body on the battlefield that can block or attack and digging towards land. With that being said, Listener Elf is just... Okay, that was not bad. That was not a bad draw. So now what I can do is... Kind of depends on how scared am I to die if I... Fiery Temper... Trades for this. I think that's okay. I think it's okay to say I don't think I'm dying this turn. Let's see if that's my last words here. Yeah, let's discard Temper. Maybe this is the wrong logic to try and make like the better long-term play here. Maybe playing against Infect is just yeah, I'm just supposed to not die and I'll be fine. Let's see. I could die here and learn a brutal lesson. Snakeskin Veil is a bit annoying because now my opponent has 5. They need to do +5 and I'm dead, which is very possible. Before that card, it was +6, which is harder, but still doable. I don't know. I don't know. I don't die, which is good. What? Okay, that was weird. So now I'll Edict my opponent. No infect creatures on the board, which is awesome. And then the question is, what do I do now? Actually, I have lots of good plays here. I can pass the turn holding up mana because I only have 1 red, so I can burn my opponent's newly developed infect creature end of turn. They pump, I untap, and I burn it again. I actually think I'm going to do that. which is not very intuitive because I could just cast, Faithless Looting, Epicure, but I actually think this is a good play because I think my opponent's going to go like 2-drop, Infect Creature, I burn it, they pump, I untap, I burn it again, it's gone. Okay, they don't, which is also good for me. That's like, if they don't do that because they're scared it's going to die, that's also good for me. So it's like a good investment, so to speak. Draw land, which is not bad. The question is, should I looting before attacking because I can hit the imp? Or should I take it easy here? Develop, yeah, I think I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to develop Epicure, play land, play Epicure, and kind of have the same mindset as last time. There's even a chance I go Demand Answers away the blood before my turn with Demand Answers. I actually think that's a good play. Okay. Ichor Clawmere hits the field. So funnily enough, Galvanic Blast just kills it, right? Maybe I should do that. That's probably good. Galvanic Blast on the mirror. My opponent will need Mutagenic Growth, which is not impossible. Is there any way I'm blooding away this Faithless Looting? Is Faithless Looting any good right now? Maybe I'm good on like discard stuff, and I just want to move on here. Draw a Snacker. Okay, so I can put into play another Snacker here at least. I draw. Okay, that should seal the deal. Very good draw there. Yeah, let's Demand Answers. Discard a card. That card gets returned. Yeah, I can attack for Res. Can Vampires Kiss my opponent? And I can Ragdos Carnarium here, returning black. Kind of good with, returning lands I don't really need. This already is a 2-mana land, so I didn't lose mana. Then I can discard it to blood or looting, this and that. Like, there's a lot of small synergies here, and I think trying to make the most of those is a big key to the deck. Here's Blight Mamba. I imagine my opponent will just pass with some kind of protection up, but my Edict effect doesn't care about that. Here's a Snacker. I have 5 damage. My opponent will die to the Bolt, so I don't think there's any way to play like smart about this. So let's just cast this, attack for 5, and bolt my opponent to death. Okay, so the edicts were just MVP there. There's an argument that Demand Answers is digging into my deck, so I'll find Edict more often, and that's why that card cannot be cut. There's also the argument that all the other cards in this deck are just better right now. Is Epicure good? I guess it's kind of good against it's kind of good against Glistener Elf, but that's more or less it. Does dig 1 card deeper. This digs 2 card deeper, but it's more expensive. It's close. It's close. I'll try this. Okay, game 3. By the way, notice I changed my avatar to the Days one. I think it's quite cool. It's from the Legacy Showcase of the past season. Ooh, my opponent keeps 7 cards here. I'm very scared. These imps are. I mean, one of the imps that's cool, but 2 is yeah, it's not the best. But I have some digging power. That's fine. 03. Okay, that's a cool card actually. Maybe I won't need to kill that card. Very sad about that though. Lightning Bolt, the Llanowar, Augur. My opponent has built their deck in a cool way where they play proactive stuff that keeps their creatures alive versus red-based removal, which is kind of cool. Like they play the Seal, they play the Aura, they play this one. That's cool. So basically, Infect is bad against cards like, Snuff Out and Edicts and stuff. Huh. Okay, I guess we looting here, even though it's not a good time to looting, but I have 2 and all of that jazz. I mean, I can just discard 2 imps here, I feel like. Maybe it's 1 imp and 1 looting. Is that better? Okay, we can try that. Can't Madness. I will develop my artifact count. And then I clicked the wrong one. I think I was supposed to play the bridge. Shouldn't matter in 95 out of 100 games, so maybe it's okay. Let's see. My opponent plays Mamba, which is annoying. So now I just think I have to looting Fiery Temper to just trade with some kind of protection spell. Okay, so I discard Temper and Snacker. Pretty standard. Trade for a protection spell. That's kind of forced. Okay, my opponent had to use a good spell to keep it alive, which is good for me, I guess. Develop one more tap land. Next turn, I can looting 2 imps into play and get Snacker. So basically, 2 for attacking, like 1 for attacking, 1 for blocking, basically. Faithless looting. Still looking for the edict as well, right? There's the edict. Okay, that's sick. So what I could do here is discard. Maybe I just discard 2 imps and I block, and then I edict. Yeah, that's probably okay. So Snacker gets returned. This is another one where should I stay back and double block here? I probably should. My opponent has to invest a pump spell to kill both. Maybe that's bad for me. I kind of need to also kill my opponent, but maybe I'll be fine with, lootings to keep it up. What if I just attack block with 1? Then I take 1. My opponent would need to pump for 6. Okay, I actually think that's better. Just blocking with 1, I think is fine. Bridge, attack with 1, and then kind of accept that I'm losing two big pump spells, but I still keep more stuff post confession. Interesting spot. I hope my opponent just, it regenerates here, and okay, that happens. I take 1, I go to 4 infect. Wow. I even draw another one. Yeah, just look at this. And the festivities here. Card is amazing. In this spot for sure. And the festivities, those guys are gone. Vampire Kiss. Attack. Yeah, that was brutal. My opponent, yeah, playing the Glistener Elf is reasonable, but then again, the thing about the confession is I could have just exiled some cards from the yard and I would be just fine. Let's see if I get to end the festivities for the mirror as well here. That would be very, very strong. Definitely worth going for this because it's less damage to the face. Just dealing 1 damage isn't amazing. So whenever I can trade, this is a good one for me. Okay, so the opponent goes +1/+1 until end of turn. Maybe I should just. What happens if I edict it away, attack my opponent to 6? That should be lethal next turn, right? Yeah, that's lethal next turn. So I'm gonna accept. And let's see, can this also make a 1/1? Yeah, so funnily enough, now I will exile card from my yard. So my opponent can't go Vitality Charm in response to sacrifice a small creature. So that will kill the mirror for sure. Then I attack my opponent down to 5. And then next turn I attack them down to 1 and have lethal with the temper. So let's say my opponent had 20 life. Maybe I would want a Fiery Temper here and then like kind of keep my extraction. But when I'm looking to close out the game, I want the damage spell left in hand. The opponent can't do anything here. They're kind of out of gas here. I was able to survive for a long time, and then connect with 2 at the festivities. That was just too much for the opponent. Oh yeah, very very cool match because my opponent's deck was kind of off meta, but it was still very dangerous because my deck is not that fast, and I play damage based removal spells. So whenever I'm in the control role, stuff like this Lana War is awesome. Stuff like regeneration is awesome. But yeah, the edicts very good out of the sideboard. They're meant for boggles, but Infect is kind of the same thing, right? They want to make a big creature and have some small stuff around it to play around the edict. But when you can collect the evidence here and kill the biggest one, perfect. All right, that's gonna do it for match 1. Let's go to the next one. Okay, match 2. I'm playing a Rakdos Madness Burn and 0 lands. Easy mulligan. 1 land with a bunch of bad black cards. Easy mulligan. Okay, that's not ideal. Wow. Okay, 3 unplayable hands in a row. That's not good. This hand go to let's see. If I go to 5, I mean, this is just straight up unplayable. Because not even getting to, highway robbery, away a bad card. I think I keep this. I get rid of a Vein and a Blast. I think my only way to realistically recoup here is something like get into the game and start using Madness cards. I don't think I can win this like in a normal fashion. Galvanic Blast, terrible draw, obviously. So first of all, we need red mana. Then second of all, we need, yeah, this is just too much. Okay, my opponent's on some cool Mardu artifact type stuff here. That's cool. Vault of Whispers. Okay, we should probably just go to sideboard here. That was not impressive. So Mardu Thraben probably plays the familiar. Maybe I just resubmit my cards here. I don't think I need any stuff in particular against that deck. I just think I need to do my own thing and not mulligan to 5 and don't do anything. That's never what you want to see. Like, you can't do anything about it. So that's just how Magic is sometimes. But yeah, for content, not exactly something you can learn anything about or get entertained by, or like there's just no value to it. Let's try again. This is a 4-lander. I have some stuff though, so I'll keep it. So I can go turn 1 bridge, turn 2. Maybe I'm not supposed to do that. Maybe I'm supposed to go turn 1 Epicure to just get a little bit of damage going. Okay, let's do that. And then I go Carnarium turn 2. Fire Temper is going to be fine for later. Carnarium, return, attack for 1. So now I already have some stuff to, get going. Kind of get into the deck, find more draw spells, find more madness stuff. Dawnbringer, okay. Dawnbringer is just a 1/3. That's not bad. Okay. Kitchen Imp is a good one. So now I can go Blood the Imp into play and attack. I think that's just solid, right? Yep. Madness, draw, not a good draw though. Develop tap lane, attack for 2 in the air, and then my opponent might be playing, Core Skyfisher, stuff like that, and I can be very sad. Let's see. Here's Lembas, some more like incidental life gain that is also good with the grindy aspect of the deck. My opponent has all their 3 colors. Another Epicure. I think it's time to go Vampire's Kiss my opponent, Madness the Fiery Temper to clear the Cleric attack. So let's go that. Draw. Snacker is a good one. I wish it was here earlier, though. Attack for 3. So I'm kind of keeping up the pressure. I'm keeping up the cards a little bit. Next turn, I can get Snacker into play. Okay, let's see what my opponent hits on Synthesizer. My opponent hits Novice Inspector, which does block the Epicure, but does not help against my Air Force. My opponent could easily have a removal spell for Imp, though. I should probably see if I can find another Imp. So I go crack Blood Token, discard Snacker. I did not. So play Epicure, King for 1, sacrifice the blood, discard Alms of the Vein, heal 3. Faithless Looting was a very good card for this hand. Yeah, I guess let's attack in the air and play a damage land second main phase. Let's see if my opponent has a removal spell. No removal spell. Maybe they have some kind of sweeper. Let's see. Heal 1 with my mana base. Pretty strong. Pretty strong. So I'm putting up a lot of questions here. My opponent can... Oh, they decide to draw rather than gain 3. Okay. Interesting. Is this a sweeper? No. That's not a sweeper. Cleansing Wildfire, sure. Generally, Cleansing Wildfire, is, in my opinion, is not very good against decks that kind of put you under pressure, but it's very good against like the slower decks. Like, it's basically a Rampant Growth draw card. Okay, Familiar is a card that, as an opponent, you have to be very careful about when you play that, right? You could enable some madness stuff, or just imagine I have like one more snacker. Okay, here's Lembas to gain 3. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna start looking with looting here. Let's see. The thing about looting is if my opponent blocks, but they won't block Snacker. Okay. But the thing about it, if I looting more than like once, it doesn't help with I can't get back to Snacker because that would be my card number 5 or whatever for the turn. Let's looting once more, see if we can hit something cool. We do hit something cool. So we discard that and the land. Let's do a little bit of math first. We burst our opponent down to 5, play that. Opponent blocks there. Opponent blocks there. Opponent takes 3. Okay, it's lethal if I discard. I guess it doesn't matter. It's just lethal. Nope. It's not lethal. I miscounted my artifacts. I thought I had 3. Okay. We see where this takes us. Attacking with everything should be correcto. Let's see. Opponent blocks there, takes 2, blocks there, takes 4, takes 5, go down to 1. Okay, fair enough. Is that 1 after this? If I play my Jack Barons, I'm not 100% sure actually about that. Should I do that? Put my opponent to 3. Maybe that's all right. Opponent's at 3 life. I pass. They have a lot of stuff to do here, and I have a deal 2 in hand. Cleansing Wildfire is all right. Hawk returns Synthesizer. So, I mean, my opponent has me outgrinded, but it's basically my opponent's life total that matters at this point. Cast Down is a cool one. That takes care of one of the flyers. Blocking takes care of the other. That does it. Okay, so basically, what I want to be doing here is attack first. No, maybe that's not even necessary. We can just do like this. Now, because of the blood, I have Metalcraft, so even if my opponent hasn't had anything fancy here, they're dead. Okay, so I don't think this changes anything when it comes to my approach to the matchup. I think if I get like my engine going, return a snacker, madness and imp, kill a little bit of creatures, drain my opponent, then I'll be fine. But yeah, my opponent has some nasty life gain with the Dawnbringer. They have some good flyers that can trade with the imp or put me under pressure. So the matchup is not easy at all. The more cleansing wildfires they cast, though, the better for me. Let's see here. A couple of lands. Yeah, this hand is just fine. Ideally, one of these lands were untapped, but that's how it is in Pauper. You need your tap lands to be able to cast your cards. If you want to play monocolored, you can play like mono red Kuldotha Burn. You can play mono blue Delver. So let's see. This is always an interesting question because I want to get to Metalcraft, sure, but I think the game is going to be long enough that I will. And there's some case where I want to play around getting I can't remember the word into the fire here, but I mean, I probably can't beat that card anyway. It's going to be very good against me turn 3 as well. So I couldn't tell you the upside or downside of playing the different stuff out here. Okay, so now my opponent has a good blocker on the ground. That sucks. So we kind of need to get some flying air force going. Another Dawnbringer. Now my opponent can start to attack. Here's Bajuka Bog. That doesn't do anything against me. Well, I guess it could. My opponent has all their 3 colors here, which is unfortunate. Wow, no attack. I think that the opponent should attack there every time. Okay, so this actually changes my plans a little bit. Because it's just, I want to get the snacker into play. Discard that, draw 2, develop another land, pass. And now we can kind of get our engine running here with, Vampire's Kiss, some madness stuff. And, yeah, keep it up. You have the resources. Looks like my opponent's deck is basically trying to grind me out. And my strategy is naturally pretty good against that. So now my opponent decides to attack. Let's see if that one missed damage ends up mattering. Ooh. Yeah, so once again, I think my plans changed because it's just so good to get damage going. So let's go. Madness the Imp. Draw. Galvanic Blast, not bad. I might fire that off before my next turn. Get in for 4 in the air. And that's how this deck is winning. This deck is winning by, having these undercosted and slash sticky threats. And it's also winning because with Vampire's Kiss and Alms of the Vein, you can kind of make sure the opponent doesn't win the race. Okay, Galvanic Blast on that one is fine. I think I'll just use my mana and Galvanic Blast my opponent here. I have so much damage in my hand. Let's see, 4, 8, 11, 14. I have exactly 18 damage in my hand. That's just sick. I'll go to 17. Draw. The card is not bad because now I go Vampire's Kiss. Then I go discard that. Cast it, target opponent, drain. Maybe I find a tap land. That's like the reason to do it now. I don't. That's fine. Attack for 2. My opponent's at 7. I still have 1 more blood in play to enable more Vein, more Fiery Temper. Let's see if my opponent has like a big life gain spell, something that swings the game. Obviously, the Limbus is a gain 3 on board. Okay. Familiar is not a bad card here because it also blocks. I discard the only the card in my hand that does the least damage, right? Not not anything complicated. My opponent goes to 10 here. Do I have lethal if I draw land? Vampire's Kiss. No, only 9. Okay. My opponent should attack with both creatures again. I'm at 20. Yeah, my opponent's not getting anywhere with that chip damage. I do draw the land. Okay, is that lethal? 4. Opponent's at 6. 4. Opponent's at 6. No, it's not lethal. I guess I just forced a trade here. Or should I have killed the Glinthawk? That's very possible. That is very possible. So let's go vampires. Let's go discard Vein. Draw another Temper, which that's funny. All right, you go, opponent. Now my opponent needs to do a lot of stuff. Small thing, my opponent should have attacked first here. But maybe it's fine to just attack with Dawnbringer and Novice. That's kind of the same. Fair enough. Oh, okay, then they should have attacked first. So opponent missing out on a little bit of damage there, which in some games can be the difference between winning and losing. Here's Dawnbringer. That's fine. Opponent's now at 7. Galvanic Blast. Opponent's at 3. And we have lethal in many, many ways here. Okay. Pretty clean matchup here. The opponent gained a bunch of life, but their aggression simply wasn't relevant. And my my life gain, like double Vampire's Kiss, double Vein. I'm at 24. The opponent played a bunch of creatures. That's just yeah, how this deck rolls. Once you get going, if you don't get run over or the opponent does not, contain you and just basically go over the top of you in the mid game, this deck is just thriving a lot. So yeah, let's see if we can put some more wins on the board. Okay, we're here for round 3. I'm still playing Rakdos Madness Burn, and this is a good hand. This hand has a decent mix of the stuff you want to see to get the ball rolling. I wonder how I should play this. I could see going turn 1 Epicure, having the option of going sack blood, kill whatever my opponent's doing. If that does not happen, I can sack the blood to discard Sneaky Snacker, and then use looting on the following turn to bring it back. That's probably it. Also, I am playing in a red aggressive deck, so I want to get my damage going early and often. I am postponing the bridge, but that's how things go. I can see killing this is still being correct. I also see, let's see. Yeah, let's do that. Fiery Temper, a draw. Vampire Kiss, very good, obviously. Healing damage, gaining life, making blood tokens. Here's an Epicure. Generally, I like this matchup because I have life gain. Speaking of that, maybe I'm supposed to demand answers now because I want to get back the Snacker. Vampire's Kiss is going to be good at all stages of the game. And now I stay back because I have the black life gain spells, the Vein, and the Kisses. Okay, my opponent's already going for discarding excess lands, etc. And yeah, this was a good reason to stay back. My opponent does get in for 4 here, which is annoying. Don't get me wrong. Let's see. Vampire's Kiss, very nice. Hmm. I can see staying back with this snacker here. I can get one more into play, I think. So if I go double looting, but that's just not very strong. I can go kiss. Maybe I can go one more kiss. Is that good? Should be pretty darn strong. So basically, right now I have to decide if I'm trying to race my opponent or I'm trying to prolong the game. If I stay back, I play around second Bushwhacker. If I attack, I don't. Maybe I'll trust that I'm the better deck going along here. Tomb Raider, okay. Okay, I mean, I like this as well. Take 2, get rid of a Tomb Raider, get the Snacker back for free. I'm still ahead on life. Going to discard another land. Draw. Okay, so maybe I blood this away and cast Looting? Demand Answer is not bad. Could also just, you know, blood away a Furnace. Or maybe Looting is good because I can hit Madness stuff. I don't hit Madness stuff. Do I want one more land? Does that have any value? I just have infinite churning here. Is there ever a way I can get, like, I'll try this. I was trying to wonder if there's a way I get, like, bottlenecked on mana here. I really don't want to do that. But maybe I can, like, am I supposed to blood away that card? Ah, it's so strong. It's so hard. Okay, I'm gonna go Demand Answers, discard this Jack Barons. I think that's fine. Another Vampire Kiss, which is awesome. And I got to return my creatures, so trying to make the best plan here when it comes to winning the game and also not losing the game. We're both at 14, but I have the better board. My hand is good. I have life gain. Okay, let's attack. Trying to put my opponent to 10. Maybe I just sacrifice a blood here. I can see that. Draw 2. Gain 2 here to not die, and then it looks like I'm winning next turn with this stuff, right? I have like 10 burn just here. My opponent needs to deal me 16, which is possible. Let's see, go to 10. And then it's something to do with Bushwhacker and Galvanic Blast. Bushwhacker here and I'm dead, right? Okay. Ooh, Goblin Grenade. So I'm at 1. Yeah, I'm at 1 here. Very lucky. Can I count? Yes, I can count. Okay. Goblin Grenade is a good one at closing out game 1. So I've loved that card in the past. Opponent puts me to 1. I have a lot of stuff. I have infinite burn. Yeah, that was a close one. The Goblin Grenade kind of took me by surprise there. So against that deck, I think I'm supposed to board in a couple of Festivities, and that's it. What should I cut here? Like 1 Demand Answers, maybe? 1 Lightning Bolt? I think that's okay. Yeah, let's try that. It's kind of... this deck, you really need to keep it intact after sideboard. Otherwise, I mean, this deck is only good if you get to like do your thing and like discard cards for profit. Like, this deck is not good if you're casting Faithless Looting and discarding 2 lands or End the Festivities and Lightning Bolt. But yeah, in the pseudo mirror, and it's basically not even close to a mirror. I think we play like 12 of the same cards. We play like Galvanic for Lightning Bolt for Epicures. But against mono red, the life gain is just so awesome. It's also kind of normal that some decks can overreact, bring in Graveyard Hate. Some decks can overreact, bring in like too much that disrupts artifact lands. And the good thing about this deck is sometimes you just draw like the opposite side of that. So let's say I have a mana base where Gorilla Shama doesn't kill anything, or my opponent's Graveyard Hate doesn't do anything because I didn't draw Snacker, or I didn't care too much about it. People can overreact in numerous directions here. And not even that, only that, like overreacting, also just, having more polarized draws so they miss on, relevant interaction more often. This hand is fine. Looks like we can just, get into the game here and have good options. Like, if I go turn 2 Vampire Kiss, I just have great options turn 3, right? So let's see. There exists a world where... Okay, my opponent completed the sentence. There exists a world where I get Stone Rained here. So obviously that's extremely strong. And this, less so. So it's pretty high variance here for the opponent, whether... Oh, wow. Okay. This is not high variance. This is just me being dead. But it's very high variance whether I have the other duel, this card does nothing. But yeah, obviously the opponent connected big time here. All right. We try again game 3. So, since Magic's a very emotional game, my opponent's going to be very happy with that plan, and they're going to like resubmit those cards. So hopefully we can draw some other lands and kind of punish that fact. Also, I'm not sure how many Cast Into the Fire they're actually playing, but it is like a solid card because it's so flexible. And funnily enough, we have like the same stuff here. It is a very very solid card because it also has the other mode, so that can theoretically kill like a Snacker and an Epicure if I don't have the artifact lands. So I like that card. It has a lot of flexibility. So yeah, a lot of variance to this matchup once they have the artifact stuff. Here's Blast Runner. I'm gonna draw into my deck here and get a Snacker into play. I can't say I love this. Like, this is where just like a mountain or whatever would be awesome. Let's see if we get Cast Into the Fire. My comments have successfully backfired. Now I play mono black. I play mono black with mono red cards in hand. All right, that was kind of fun. So yeah, we got destroyed by artifact hate here. That's what happens. It's very sad when it happens like back to back, but that's Pauper. Artifact lands are very much on everybody's radar. So whenever you can find a hand like without those, let's just say I have the Jacked, the other duel, and a mountain. These cards don't do anything. I can just go about with my day. But yeah, I drew the artifact lands and got severely destroyed. So I think that'll do it for today's video. I had a lot of fun playing this deck. Pauper seems like it's in a fine place right now. You could argue that a lot of stuff is revolving around the artifact lands, and getting blown out like this is not like what ideally you want out of the format. Ideally, you want like the long and grindy games. You want people to play Muldrifter. You want people to play Battle Screech. You want people to play some Tron lands here and there. But that's just how Magic is these days. People are going to come up with the best proactive decks, make them as resilient as possible, and then a lot of stuff will get left in the dirt afterwards. But yeah, that's just how the cookie crumbles these days. I highly enjoyed playing today. These last 2 games were not the best, but it's a great way to try and exploit the opponent's strategy and get some free wins. And at the end of the day, the point is winning. That's always been the case for me. So we did a little bit of that, and we did a little bit of losing. I hope you guys enjoyed the Pauper content. Let me know if I should keep it up or do something else. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.